Okay, Jet fans, Darrell Revis.
Is off the board.
The New York Jets select
Mekhi Becton, Louisville.
You fired up to be a New York Jet?
Pressure just makes you go a little more. I kind of like pressure a little bit.
The New York Jets select.
Welcome back to the final episode of NFL Draft Preview, or should I say NFL Draft Review, presented by Verizon with the Athletics' Dane Brugler. Dane, the draft is behind us. Simply put, what did you think about the Jets' day one and day two, tripling down on offense?
Well, Zach Wilson, we talked about him at length over multiple shows. Just, the impact in Mike LaFleur's offense, which we assume will be heavily influenced by Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur. So I can't wait to see him. His creativity, he's a quick-minded player. His accuracy, the off-platform throws, the ability to make spontaneous decisions. I cannot wait to see Zach Wilson and just to see him in an NFL uniform to see how that plays out. I don't know what the feedback has been from the fan base on the trade up in the first round, but I love the move. We talked about the fit of Elijah Vera Tucker and how perfectly he would be as a plug and play guard with this team. He's got Pro Bowl potential, and just what would it mean for a unit, that offensive line as a whole. But we also talked about how no way he was making it to number 23. So you package 2 third-round picks and go and get them. I love it. And then, speaking of Douglas looking to support the quarterback, not only has he picked offensive linemen in the first round back-to-back years, he has also now taken wide receivers in the second round in back-to-back years. So again, prioritizing the supporting cast of the quarterback, more not very big, 5'9.5", 178 pounds, but he's explosive. You love the speed, the ball skills. It all makes up for, the lack of inches. He's force-fed the football in Lane Kiffin's offense last season. He responded in a big way. 10.8 catches per game, 149 receiving yards per game. He was basically a flexible chess piece for them. And I think we'll see the same with the Jets. Line him up across the formation, backfield, slot. He can go out wide. You can get him the ball in different ways. And so I'm really excited to see how he's used and just what type of role they have in store for him.
All right, well, let's move to the backfield. The Jets gave up their 2 third-round picks in the trade to move up 9 spots. And then at pick 107, the top of the 4th round, they select Michael Carter out of UNC, who, to your credit, you mocked to the Jets at 107.
Yeah, I just really loved the idea of just plopping him in that backfield because he brings something a little bit different that I don't think that backfield had when you talk about a problem-solving back, a guy that has a little bit of juice, who has vision, who can be on the field in any situation, who's so productive in college. He had set records for rushing yards per game in his career, in a single game, in a single season. I mean, this guy was nothing but productive. That low center of gravity. So yeah, he's smaller at only 200 pounds, but that low center of gravity really helps him change directions, bounce off tackles. And I love how he marries his eyes with his feet. So he knows where those blocks are coming. He can anticipate and he's able to execute. So he's going to complement what's already on the roster with P. Ryan, and it's going to be an interesting fit how they use those runners.
3 picks in round 5, 3 picks in round 6. And I'm going to couple some guys together here. So let's start with Jamie Sherwood, a 5th-round pick, and Hamza Nasraldine, a 6th-round pick. Both played safety in college, but they turned in the cards as linebackers. What do you think about them two fitting into this Jets defense?
Yeah, 2 really interesting players because, one of the biggest worries with them is, okay, where do you play them? A guy like Hamza Nasraldine, 6'3", 215 pounds. You just don't see many 6'3" safeties out there, but he moves well. He's a guy that has production. He had over 100 tackles in 2019 before he suffered the ACL injury. This past year, 2020, basically a lost season for him. He played 2 games, but he was still working his way back from that knee injury. So he falls a little bit because of the lack of fit, because of the knee injury, and just tremendous value at that point. Sherwood's interesting because he talked to the coaches last summer at Auburn, and they raved about this guy and just the impact that he was going to make on their defense and in different ways. They were going to use him as a matchup defender, let him play a more traditional safety role, but also let him, bring him down in the box, let him do some different things. And that's where I think that you're looking to maybe put on some weight and make that transition to a full-time linebacker. That versatility is going to be key. You want to tap into that. So it's going to be very interesting to watch the trajectory of both these guys.
the Jets drafted 3 cornerbacks, Michael Carter II, Jason Pinnock, Brandon Echols. All 3 tested very well. What do you think about them as prospects?
Yeah, create competition with big-time athletes. I mean, that's what they're doing here. And I think each one offers maybe a little something different. With Carter, I think you're getting a little more versatility because he can play across the formation, slot, a little bit of safety, nickel looks. So I think with Michael Carter, you're getting a little more versatility. With Pinnock, you're getting a little more size, a guy that is going to be more of a matchup defender. And then with Echols, just pure athleticism. Like, all these guys are athletic, but Echols kind of takes it to another level, and he probably has the highest upside of the group. Echols has that potential that he might end up turning into something if they can be patient with him the next few years.
In the 6th round pick, 207, the Jets addressed the defensive line with Jonathan Marshall out of Arkansas. What's intriguing to you about him?
Well, he's an interesting player because he really wasn't on the radar coming into this year. He had 0 starts to his name going into his senior year at Arkansas, becomes a starter, became a team captain. But when you watch him this past season on a senior tape, you see power in his upper body. You see quickness with his lower body. A guy, when he times up the snap, he's able to create movement. So there's a lot to like about Jonathan Marshall as a depth piece and a guy that really has yet to play his best football.
And that is a wrap on the 2021 season of NFL Draft Preview presented by Verizon with the Athletics' Dane Brugler. Dane, it's been a pleasure as always, and we'll talk to you next draft season.
Pleasure was mine. Thanks, Ethan.